Sound off!
3, 4. Captain. Get back here!
Oh, it was spontaneous and so romantic.
Are you crazy?
It'll be fun.
It's a movie about consequences in a way, and for the parents, they get married sort of in a rush and don't really consult the kids, and then they have to deal with the consequences of that. That's what interests me the most about the project, honestly, is the sort of the interaction between these blended families and the consequences of their actions.
Whoever has the stick may express themselves without fear or any interruption, okay?
This is it's a romantic comedy with kids. It really is what it is. And but I play Frank, and he's a disciplinarian, let's call it that.
All right. These are your schedules with latrine times. You get 7 minutes each. Do not waste it.
Me, I'm not much of a disciplinarian, to tell you the truth. I'm more like Helen at home.
Helen is a mother of 10. She adopted 6. She had 4 of her own. And then she meets Frank Beardsley, who has 6, and she ends up with 18 kids.
Helen's world is very, free to be you and me, very, kind of new agey, and let the kids be who the kids are. And Frank's version of parenting is very rigid and very military, and it's really you have kids raised under 2 different diverse types of parenting that now have to come together, and they have to deal with each other, and the parents have to deal with their contrasting parenting styles, and hijinks ensue.
Fire!
Well, the kids hate each other, and I can't blame them. They're different kids. My kids are kind of wild and messy, and Beardsley kids are neat and orderly. And so I think when they come together, it's not a good mix.
It's time that we call a truce. We need to unite against a greater enemy. And that enemy's name is Mom and Dad. Who knows what drives our parents crazy better than we do? I play with William Beardsley. He's the oldest son on Dennis Quaid's set. He's a really good kid. He wants to follow in his father's footsteps. He wants to go into the Navy or Coast Guard, whatever he can. Am I connected to him anyway? No.
My character is Dylan. He's sort of the artsy, he's a painter, he's a graffiti artist. He's kind of the, just the artist kind of, to himself, kind of guy.
My character's name is Phoebe North, and she's sort of an eccentric guitar player. She is Helen North's oldest daughter, and sort of the leader of the pack in as much as she can be with 10 kids around. Somebody's sort of got to lead for the little ones to follow.
Christina is in the Beardsley side of the family. She's kind of the queen bee around everybody at school and friends-wise. She's kind of the popular cheerleader who couldn't be bothered with someone who's so below her. But then at home, she kind of has a whole other side to her with her father and the other kids in the family, that a motherly side. It's like a split personality thing. There's 2 different sides to her.
My character Jimmy, he's as you know, he's adopted. Let me see. He has a wild imagination. Come up with certain stuff like on the spot. Whatever he want to say, he speak his mind. Yeah, me and Jimmy, we both really the same person. Jimmy is me, I'm Jimmy.
My character's name's Joni, and she plays the saxophone, and she's kind of artsy, and she wears offbeat clothes and that kind of thing. She's really into music. I play the guitar, and she plays the saxophone in the movie. So it was kind of really weird for me to pick up the saxophone for the first time and start playing, so that's kind of different.
My character's name is Harry Beardsley, and he is a quiet kind of guy. He's more to himself, and he always has a suitcase and never unpacks it when they move into a new house because he doesn't feel like anything is really home to him.
I play Naoko North. I'm an adopted Japanese girl from Japan,
and I am a gothic punk rock kind of girl, so I'm wearing black a lot and I have funky hairdos and stuff like that. I'm not exactly the same, but I think I'm kind of the same. She's kind of like a hardcore chick, and I guess I'm not that hardcore, but I kind of, have the toughness too.
Well, I play Michael Beardsley. He is on the Beardsley side, and he plays the Boy Scout, and he's really preppy, and he has all the badges. He has like patrol leader, recruiter. I can hold a knife on me, so.
Nick, he loves animals. He has never found an animal that hasn't been hurt in any way that he hasn't taken home. I'm the same way, but my mom doesn't let me take the animals home.
My character is Kelly Beardsley, and she's on Frank's side of the family, and she loves sports, and she just seems happy all the time. Really, I'm more of a dancer than a jock.
I play Otter.
My character is Bina.
My character is Eli. My name in the movie is Marissa.
We had to beat the boys. We had to spray them back and forth.
I get to throw mud, and if I did that in real life, then I'd really get in trouble.
I like my character, and it's really fun to work in this movie.
Well, my character's name is Lau, and I have been adopted in Vietnam and likes to sketch, put in fashion materials, and helps my mom. He follows the Admiral around, and he copycats him a lot, like move it, move it, move it, move it, move it, move it. My character's name is Aldo. He's very mischievous, and that's exactly like me, but, there's not a lot to say about him, except just happy the way he is. Well, shall we get some tea? Oh, that would be lovely. I love tea in the afternoon. I love tea, but we have to boil it.
Helen!
The great thing about kids is they're so spontaneous. Anything can happen with them. It's great.
Yeah, we were looking for kids that would sparkle. Kids that would pop. Kids that you could believe were all in the same family together. And all these kids did. They all have, I think, really individual personalities.
Raja is an incredible man. He has such patience and such love for what he does that I think it affects the whole set. He's a really wonderful man.
Yeah, good director. Very nice for the normal one. He's not normal, he's very nice.
Ready and action!
I've worked with Steven Spielberg and Brett Ratner, and Raj is definitely up there. He is a really nice director, and it's really cool.
Raja, he's a really good director. I think he directed a lot of movies, and I like how he directs people. He's nice. And even if I don't get an Oscar for an acting, I would still get an Oscar for directing with Raja.
CG Lighthouse. In terms of just being kids and the natural ebb and flow of that much energy on set, it was fabulous. They were just great kids. They all wanted to work. They all wanted to work together. Everyone performed, just fabulously.
Mrs. Munyon, how do you like the place?
Oh, it has a certain
Charm.
smell, like paprika with a hint of wet dog.
Who is Mrs. Munyon? I don't know who the hell Mrs. Munyon is. I've never seen her pick up a mop. I don't know how the house gets clean. I'm asking these questions myself. I have no idea.
The nature of Mrs. Munyon in this film is that she kind of pops in and pops out and pops in and pops out and does something very distinct while she's there and then departs.
Well, Mrs. Munyon, what do you think of Connecticut?
I'm delighted to be here in the birthplace of Lyme disease.
Linda Hunt is this is a comedy, but she never plays it for the comedy. She plays it completely straight, and it's funny every time.
Working with all the animals, which has been really fun for me because I love animals. There is 2 dogs, 1 cat, and 1 pig. A crow and 1 pig.
I've never worked with a pig before. I even have a bedroom scene with a pig. I wonder how the pig feels.
Why do I have to do all this work just to live with these jerks?
Well, what do you suggest?
What, are you gonna drop a stink bomb on him?
Just watch the master.
Oh, it's like dripping down my cheek.
This is more than enough for me.
We're getting real messy today.
This is gross. Really, really, really gross.
Oh my.
The paint scene, all the paint and pillow fight and the paint fight and the pudding and all that stuff, that was my favorite scene.
If you're with 18 kids, you're going to get wet. That's for sure.
Oh my gosh, I would never do that again. Paint fell on us, and it was just all over. It was in my hair. And then, like, later on, we had to, like, do the aftermath of that. So we had to put fresh paint on our faces, and it started crusting. You had to peel it off, and it was just disgusting.
So we all got dirty, but always a fun scene.
I think the paint fight was the most fun scene because we got to just throw paint everywhere, and we did it for like 3 days. I think there was like icing that was supposed to be putty, and a lot of the kids were eating the icing, actually. It was just so much fun to do.
And I like very much the paint chaos confusion scene because I think that all the kids did a nice job there, and it was just fun to do.
Let's have a group hug. Come on, guys. I think we can.
There has been enough taking it easy around here. That clearly doesn't work. I should have never gone against my better judgment. This is why we have rules.
Do you hear yourself? Because it's not all about rules. You sound like some military robot, Frank.
Yeah? Well, you sound like a big free to be you and me flake.
The kids had a party, a really big party, and it was a mess, there's no question. But I just saw how tough Frank was on the kids. It affected him in a way that it scared me a little bit. I thought, oh, I don't know, this is so controlling. I don't know if we'll ever really be able to. I didn't agree. I thought that it was hurtful to the kids, that they needed to just be kids.
As we're trying to break them up, we're becoming a family and we're becoming friends. And then at the end of the movie, we change our minds and we try to bring them back together.
Like, we're angry, then the big kids figure a plan, then we move back out, then we miss each other, so we come back in.
As we're, trying to split our parents apart, I think we kind of start, like, getting along and liking each other and stuff and just getting a good relationship starting. And then once they break up, we realize that we are good friends now, and it really stinks that what we've already done and ruined everything.
So then the mission becomes, let's get them back together and keep this family together. And we do.
Dad, we have a confession. We were behind everything, all the fights.
We tried to break you and Mom up so we could go back to the way things were. We made a huge mistake, and we realized that we should all be a family.
When we start getting involved with trying to break the parents up, it kind of brings the kids together, and that's sort of what makes the kids realize hey, maybe we're the same, and it's not that bad.
Action! Cut! Beautiful!
That's a cut.
Reset. That's gorgeous.
Camera reset.
Put it on.
It's just such a good family film, and you can see how different we are and then how we come together. It's really like you can put it into a small family and just all the problems that they have, but they solve it because in the end, they all really love each other.
In the story, they really do come together, and they discover that they all like each other.
Kids looking at mom
And I think that you see in the end sort of where they're coming from and why they have their differences, and you know, you sort of feel for them. So there's a little bit of that in there, and I appreciate that in the film.
It is about consequences, and it is about the power that you have and the responsibility that you have inside a family relationship.
It's funny and it's sweet without being overly sentimental, and it also feels real as far as family situation goes.
I think it has a sweetness and a tenderness and a great deal of humor. A great deal of good humor. Not necessarily comedy, but very good humor, good spirits.
I'll just get this fuzzy feeling about the whole process because it's a movie that I really like. It's a movie that has a lot of heart. It's a movie about people. It's a movie that aspires to be a little more than your average family comedy.
There's a little bit of everything. There's animals, there's kids, there's love, there's hate, there's everything.